Greetings totally tubular gamers, we're back with another ranking video, and today's is a Nintendo ranking video, and it's a big one. Today we're going to be ranking every Super Smash Bros. From worst to best. It's one of my most wanted ranking videos ever, and you know, for good reason. It's Smash Bros. I don't need to tell you what Super Smash Bros. Is. If you play video games, you probably know what Super Smash Bros. Is. Many people like myself have been enjoying Smash for over a decade, 2 decades now at this point, whether it's competitively, whether it's just casually, or whether you go over to a friend's house and they've got Smash Brothers playing. Like, everybody loves Smash. They love playing as their favorite Nintendo and now not Nintendo characters, beating the crap out of each other, and it's always a good time. I really just can't fathom someone who likes video games saying I don't like Super Smash Bros. Like, sure, you might like certain entries more than other entries, but just not liking Smash as a whole? Yeah, right. So the question really becomes, how does someone rank all of the Smash games? Well, not easily, to be honest. First off, there's no bad Smash game. None of these games are bad or even close to bad, despite what some groups may think. They're all good to great. It's just which ones do I think are the best in the order of them. And second, everyone is different. I think everyone's list is going to be different based on their personal preference, memories, maybe competitive viability. This is such a beloved series of games with such diehard fans that I think every single person is going to have a different list and different opinion on the series as a whole, which is great. Everybody loves Smash and everyone has a different opinion. So before you go and tell me my opinion's wrong or I don't know anything, tell me your favorite game or list of Smash. I'd love to hear it. This is just my ranking, my personal list of all the Smash games. I am a mega Smash fan, diehard Smash fan, have a ton of memories and nostalgia and good times with all of these games, legit all of these games. And so yeah, I'm sure there'll be a bunch of personal bias here, but I can say I love all of these games. Melee was like one of the very first games I ever got, and I'll just be a fan for life. I'm also not looking at this from a competitive perspective. I'm a very casual player despite my years in love of the series. I play it pretty casually. I'm not going to get into all the little intricacies in the competitive scene or judge them on how competitive the games are. I mean, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to talk about maybe my favorite series of games of all time and rank them. And so, like, share, comment, sub, all that good stuff. Let's get into it. What do I think is the weakest of the Smash Brothers games? I think the weakest is kind of almost by default the original Smash Brothers on Nintendo 64. Now, of course, Smash Brothers for Nintendo 64 was not only great for the time, but it's still a pretty good game, and it's still really fun to go back to. I just think that all the other games in the series build really well on top of this. I think this game really laid a fantastic foundation for the series to come, but looking at 64 by itself, yes, it's still really quite fun and it still does have a bit to offer. Obviously, it is a bit limited compared to some of the later outings, and it is stiff as hell in many aspects, and using the N64 controller can be questionable to whatever game it is. That's just always the case. But the game, again, still had a lot of good fun memories with it. The game had a pretty good roster of characters for the time with a bunch of Nintendo staples and classics, and some more obscure ones like we had Ness and Captain Falcon. They weren't all that well known until really Smash Brothers. It had a bunch of good stages also, with some of them still being some of my favorites in the series, like Peach's Castle. I will say though, when it comes to single player, this game is a bit lacking. There's only classic mode that you play through as all 12 characters, and that's it. I mean, you go through some stages, you get to do board the platforms, which has never come back, and you get to fight Master Hand. That's really it. There's not all that much to the single player, and this is a much more multiplayer focused game. And you know, again, had some really fun times in multiplayer, but I just think that the other games, they really are much, much better and a lot more complex. This game is a very simple game in comparison to even Melee, and you know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I'd rather play just about any other Smash game with my friends over this one. I don't find myself going back to 64 nowadays, but again, good memories here, good memories. The next game on our list is Smash Bros. For 3DS. Now, for the time when it came out, this was pretty crazy. You could play a Smash Bros. Game, a full Smash Bros. Game, on the go, wherever you wanted, on the bus, on the train, in the car. You could play over the internet, you could play with your other friends. It was pretty cool, but nowadays it does seem pretty rudimentary as we do have the Switch. But I'm not going to let that discount the entire game, as I still think Smash for 3DS is pretty alright. Like 64, you're not really going to find me coming back to this game like ever, but I still think that it was not only good for the time, but it is still a pretty solid game nowadays. The character roster was actually pretty good. It was the Wii U's character roster, which is impressive for the 3DS. I mean, that's a lot of characters, that's a lot of models, a lot of everything. And of course, you're going to be playing the game on a handheld. Of course, there's going to be some compromises here. There's like silhouettes so you can see your characters. The stages aren't all that big. 4 players can get really hectic and it can be really hard to see. And the controls aren't going to be as great as, you know, the GameCube controller. And to be totally honest with you, it is a bit hard to come back to this game. I mean, we have Smash Brothers on the Switch. We don't really need Smash for 3DS anymore, which is a shame because this game does have Smash Run, which has not come back, at least at this point in time, and Smash Run was actually a lot of fun. It was kind of like City Trial from Kirby Air Ride. In fact, that's really what it was, and I really enjoyed Smash Run and was sad that it wasn't on the Wii U or Ultimate. And Smash Run is probably where I have the most memories with Smash for 3DS, that and when it came out, and I remember playing it during lunch in high school, but other than that, I don't really have too many memories with 3DS. It's probably the game I have the least amount of memories with, to be honest, and I probably won't be making any new memories with this game anytime soon. But again, I do think Smash Run is pretty good. It is underrated, but as a whole, Smash for 3DS, it's good, but not really any reason to come back to it anymore. And so here we have Super Smash Bros. Brawl for the Wii. Now, this game, mega amount of nostalgia. Tons of memories growing up with this game. But I have it here. I remember following this game's release all the way up until it came out on the Smash Bros. Dojo, checking it every day. I was just a kid at the time, but I was so into it. I was so excited when this game came out. Like, the graphics blew my mind. Looking back, they actually still look really good. Like, oddly realistic even. Like, Mario's overalls. What? Okay, aside from that though, the new characters blew my mind. Wario was here, Sonic the Hedgehog was here, Snake from Metal Gear Solid was here. We had non-Nintendo characters in the Nintendo fighting game. Like, it blew my mind then. And I mean, nowadays, well, you already know nowadays what the series has become. Wasn't just them though. Rob, Pit, Meta Knight, Toon Link, lots of good characters that would go on to be fan favorites. This game also had a ton of content, really an assload of single-player content. Classic and All-Star return, now with a ton of characters, but the game introduced a story mode. Yeah, there was actually a story mode, the Subspace Emissary, which replaced Adventure mode. And this blew my mind at the time, and even nowadays, it still kind of blows my mind that we had a single-player story mode in Smash Brothers with cutscenes and everything. And the way that this played out was actually pretty interesting. Obviously, it was still from the Smash Bros. 2D perspective, and it was more so a brawler really than a fighting game, and there was a bunch of platforming still involved, and I thought it was great. I really did enjoy it. I didn't enjoy the Great Maze at the end, but I enjoyed the rest of it, and these cutscenes are still awesome. It's like, this shit's great. There was even a bunch of bosses here, and then you could unlock a boss rush mode if you beat the story mode. So that was another mode to go through. Obviously, break the targets returns and home run derby. And then there was all the trophies to collect. Now they also have challenges to complete to get trophies and rewards. Like, there was so much to collect and unlock, and I really enjoyed that. Then there was all the multiplayer chaos, which was just great also. So many good memories. Played this game for years, really. I just played Brawl all the time. And then there was the online multiplayer, which was, well, I'll be honest, it was pretty terrible. It was super laggy, and it was pretty bad. And, I mean, I still played it, despite all the lag, but it wasn't good. Despite that, I won't lie to you, this is probably one of my favorite video games ever made. Like, I really just do love this game. I love everything about it, especially that soundtrack. Ooh, so good. But I know, in my heart, that the other Smash games probably are a bit better. This game is considerably slower than most Smash games. It's probably the slowest one outside of 64, and also there's tripping. Like, even as a kid, I thought this was the stupidest shit on the planet. Like, this is just bad game design where you just randomly trip. Like, that's just not good. But if we were ranking these games based solely on my love and memories, yeah, Brawl would probably be like either at the top or near the top, because I really do just love it, but I know that when compared to the other games, it is a little bit lower. But we do also have Project M, but I'm not going to include that on here. Either way, Brawl, it's Brawl. It's just so good. And in the number 3 spot, I have Smash Bros. For Wii U. Now, Smash for Wii U, I was pretty excited for when it came out. Not as excited as I was for Brawl, but I was still pretty excited and was pretty hyped to see a new Smash game. Now, when it comes to Smash for Wii U, it obviously is very good. Nobody's going to deny that. But I think it's fair to say that Smash for Wii U has been completely overshadowed by a certain other game on the Switch. And there is very little people playing this game nowadays, or anybody really going back to it. But that doesn't discount the fact that it was actually pretty good. There was a bunch of awesome new characters introduced, particularly the third-party ones. We got Mega Man, we got Pac-Man. I was real excited for those two, but we got like Palutena, we got a bunch of stupid Fire Emblem characters, we got Duck Hunt, and yeah, it was pretty cool. There were some strange omissions like the Ice Climbers and Pokemon Trainer just being Charizard now, but that was because of the limitations of the 3DS. But aside from that, I still think it was a fantastic roster with a ton of great characters and some great DLC, particularly Cloud, Ryu, and I guess Lucas. It wasn't just a bunch of new characters that were great, we got a bunch of new stages. I think the stages were actually pretty good in Wii U, all things considered. I really liked like the new Picto Chat, I love the Mega Man stage. There were a lot of good new stages here. Now, the fighting itself was a bit better than Brawl's. It wasn't as slow, it felt a little faster, more in line with, say, Melee. Tripping was gone, and it didn't really have any clunky moments like Brawl occasionally had. It was actually really smooth. And speaking of smooth, for the most part, the online was actually pretty smooth. That was where I have most of my memories with the Wii U game, is playing online. It was actually quite good. I was kind of surprised with how good the online was. I expect to be total garbage, and it really wasn't for the most part. It was fine enough. Sure, I'm sure it wasn't good enough for like competitive play online, but it actually worked. It was actually good. This game also introduced 8-player Smash, which that shit just gets insane. You cannot see what's going on, but I still really liked it. Great for parties. And the multiplayer of this game was actually just pretty good. I have a lot of fond memories of just hooking up the Wii U to play just this game. Like, I didn't play the Wii U all that much, even when it was new. The only thing I really played on it all that much was Mario Kart 8 and Smash Brothers. And oftentimes when a party was about to happen, or I was going over to a friend's house, bring the Wii U, hook up the Wii U, and it's just to play this game. That was the only thing we wanted to play on it, and that's because the multiplayer was pretty good. When it came to the single player, it was good also, but I don't think it was superb like, say, Brawl. Just about everything came back from Brawl except the story mode, Subspace. That was gone, which, of course, that's a shame, and there wasn't really much of a replacement for it. Classic mode came back, and I'll be honest, this is like the worst classic mode in any Smash game where you move across the board. Like, I thought this was bad. I did not like this. I did not play through Classic with every character because I just didn't really like it. All-Star was good, but I won't lie, it started to feel really bloated because of how big the roster was, and it just kind of went on and on. The Wii U version of this game has Smash Tour, which was like kind of a Mario Party style board mode where you'd go across a board and collect stuff and fight other people. I never liked this. I don't think really all that many people did. I was just not a fan of this at all. Special orders, where you got orders from Master and Crazy Hand and would have to do increasingly difficult tasks for them. I thought this was alright, this had some fun moments, and of course event mode came back, which I don't think was as good as Brawl's or Melee's. And so yeah, while the single player was good, yeah, didn't compare to Brawl in my opinion. And I'll make a special note of it here, I never used it, but this game had amiibo functionality, that was the first to do that, so congrats. But I think that the fighting mechanics are still really good in the game, and I think that there's only one Smash game that has better fighting in it. And ultimately, pun intended, I think that Smash for Wii U walked so that the Switch game could run. And in the number 2 spot, we have Melee. Now, Melee, what even is left to say about Melee? It's just one of the greatest games ever made, one of the best fighting games ever made, and it was just such a large improvement on the original Smash that it's crazy. It's really crazy how much of an improvement this is. It is just exponentially better than 64 in every single aspect. Like, the game has a lot more depth to it. They introduced the side special, or side B as it's known on the GameCube, for every character. And then the characters themselves, like, there are more than double the amount of characters that were in the original, with tons of other franchises coming in. And this game introduced tons of my favorites to the series. Bowser, Ganondorf, Mewtwo, all the antagonists, Zelda, Sheik, which you can transform into, which is awesome, Peach, Mr. Game & Watch, Falco, so many good characters that are staples of Smash Brothers and are Smash Brothers icons now were introduced in this game. And you know, it was awesome. The stages, oh, there's like more than double the amount of stages that were in the original also. And you know, there are so many good stages here, like so many iconic, classic stages that are just fantastic to come back to. And you know, coming back all these years later to play Melee, I gotta say that it isn't the easiest to come back to. It does feel a bit stiff, especially compared to some of the newer games, but you can really get over that stiffness pretty easily, at least I think so. And I think that the skill ceiling, I mean, it's clear here that the skill ceiling in Melee is pretty insane, much more than it was ever intended to be, and it's still played very competitively even nowadays, which is just, that's just insane to me. But aside from that, I always had so much fun with this game. Like, the amount of nostalgia I have with this game might be more than any other game ever made. I mean, I got this game with my GameCube. Like, it blew my fucking mind when I played it as a kid. I was like, this is just awesome. But it's not just the great multiplayer memories that I have with this game that I've had for over 15 years now, and I'm still playing this game even nowadays, creating new memories. It's not just that. The single player was great also. Classic mode returned. It was even better than the originals, with some really fun little mini games thrown in there to get trophies. And then they introduced adventure mode. Now, adventure mode was just absolutely unforgettable, where they put in all of this extra work, all these levels for your Nintendo franchises. You start with a Mario level. There's exploring these sewers with Zelda. There's where you get to race on the F-Zero track and avoid the cars. Like, it was awesome. And the game introduced All-Star mode, where you had to fight all of the characters, and I just really always enjoyed that. This game also introduced the trophies, the entire aspect of collecting the trophies, and I've always thoroughly liked the trophies. I like collecting them, and I've always thought this was super cool. There was even event mode, and then there was just all the unlockables, unlocking the characters, the stages, everything. Like, there was so much to unlock in this game, and it just led to endless hours. I have like well over 1,000 hours in Melee, couple thousand probably. I just have always played a ton of Melee. It's just great. And no, I'm not going to act like Melee's all perfect. I know it's not. It is a bit harder to come back to thanks to that stiffness I mentioned. There's a couple too many clone characters in this game, like Dr. Mario, Young Link, all the clones, all that stuff. Some of the events are really freaking annoying. I remember that. But I still think that it's a fantastic game, and I still think it absolutely holds up, and I still do think that arguably it might be a better game than some of these other Smash games that came out after. Of course, it doesn't have the roster that they have. It's not as smooth, but what it did for the franchise, what course it set it on, and the fact that it's still so good nowadays and still so relevant nowadays really speaks volumes about how good Melee is. Maybe it's just my own personal bias and memories just really coming in hard, but I still think Melee is just a fantastic game, and I mean, now it's probably rare as shit and costs hundreds of dollars since Nintendo refuses to re-release it, but that's a tale for another day. Still love me some Melee, but I don't think it's the best in the series. It's pretty obvious, but I really do think the best in the series is the newest one, Smash Ultimate. I don't think a Smash game has ever been as good as this, and I would really doubt another Smash game being as good as this. Like, how can anything get better than Smash Bros. Ultimate? Smash Bros. Ultimate, I'm not gonna lie, aside from maybe Melee, maybe, it pretty much makes every other Smash game, like, irrelevant, especially from a multiplayer perspective. I mean, like, where do I honestly even begin when I want to talk about Smash Ultimate? The roster, the stages, the music, the graphics, the online, like, where do I even begin? I guess I can begin with the roster. The roster is just the best roster in any video game, like, period. Every character from the old games is here. There's a bunch of new characters here with the DLC. There's tons of third-party characters. It's just a fantastic roster. A bunch of characters have been reworked and have new moves or new aspects to them. All the new characters that were introduced here are fantastic. King K. Rool, the Belmonts, and then all the DLC like Sora, Sephiroth, Minecraft, Steve, Dragon Quest Hero. Like, it just gets crazier and crazier. The character roster really just blows anyone's fucking mind, and if you had asked anyone like even like 5 or 6 years ago, like, hey, what do you think of this roster, they just laugh at you because it seems so unrealistic. But no, here we are with the best roster in any game. Forget this being a Nintendo franchise, Nintendo this and that. No, this is just a celebration of video games at this point. Like, this is just amazing. The roster just blows my mind. The stages, same thing. We got like almost every good stage from the original games, like, and the Wii U, all the games, all of the games. We have almost all the stages from all the games. I think there's like under 10 stages that we're missing. There's some new ones in there that are great. The music blows my mind. Like, it is the best soundtrack probably in any video game because it has so much music from all these other games, and then the new stuff is good too. The single player is also very robust. There's a ton to it. There's a very long single player story mode that is not to the level of, say, Subspace, and there's not really any cutscenes aside from the first and last one, but it was still pretty great to play. I still really enjoyed it. I did like the spirits. I mean, they're not as good as the trophies, but there's tons and tons of spirits, and it's just so amazing to see so many franchises across just so many different companies get represented. I mean, companies that aren't even like in the game, like Rayman's here, Fatal Frame's here, all these crazy franchises are here through these spirits, which is very cool. Classic returns, All-Star's been reworked to not be bloated, bunch of stuff returns like Multi-Man, all the good stuff. Had a ton of fun with all of that. Multiplayer though, oh yeah, I have not had this much fun in multiplayer for Smash since Brawl, and this is better than Brawl. I mean, the fighting itself is better. It's fast like Melee, there's no tripping, it's super fluid, there's no clunky moments. Like, it is just the best. It is top tier when it comes to mechanics, fighting, how smooth, solid it is. It's just great. I think that all of the changes that were made to the fighting and the multiplayer in general are just great. There's a bunch of new little modes thrown in there, a bunch of items thrown in there if you play with items. I really like the 5v5. I thought that was a great addition. I just really enjoy it. And then the multiplayer, the online side at least, yeah, I know from a competitive sense it's not very good. There's lag, it's not perfect. And yeah, I know it's not great from a competitive sense, but from a casual sense, I really enjoy it. I really do like it. I like it more than the Wii U and Brawls, and I have had a ton of fun with it already. And it's like I've already created this many memories with the game, like whether it was at parties or with friends or online or going to EVO and playing it casually there, or on launch day where I lost my fucking mind because I was just so blown away with how great this game is. Like, I've already created all these memories, and I have no doubt that I will be creating memories for the next 10 years, easy, if not the rest of my life, because this game is really just that good, and I'm really excited to just continue making memories and continue having fun with Smash. And that's really it for this video. I know it was pretty much a foregone conclusion that Ultimate would be the best. I mean, it's the best. It's not even close, and it makes pretty much all these other games irrelevant. I mean, especially like the Wii U and 3DS one, there is no reason to ever go back to those compared to Ultimate. Ultimate just wipes the floor with every Smash Brothers. It really is not only my favorite fighting game, probably of all time, it's just one of my favorite games, period. Like, what a fantastic game. If you like video games and you haven't played Ultimate, what? Like, what are you doing? But aside from that, that's it for this video. I'll see everyone later. Hope everyone has a good Christmas, New Year's, 4th of July, whatever holidays near you. See ya later. Bye-bye.